worst Star Wars movie ever created.
Toss a coin to
I didn't mean echoing.
Oh, Valley.
Oh my God, stop, dude. This is dumb, I'm leaving.
Join in on our movie nights.
I can't watch this. Fuck, wait for him to get in. Oh God. No. No. That's a no from me. Oh, baby feet. No.
Boom.
Oh, fuck it. Can we all give Mr. John Wick a round of applause? A whole round.
Nom nom. Nom nom.
In the eye! In the eye! Ay!
Your favorite show's over? Be there for the rat party.
This is literally the most underrated television show I can personally say I have ever seen.
Word.
That was just such an epic moment that it was just, his speech was so good. Such a massive impact on the universe of Vikings.
There is nothing that you're gonna tell me that's like, he didn't survive. Because, no. La 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 la, I hear nothing.
If you thought this had a happy ending, you haven't been paying attention.
I cry every single time I see that scene again because it's so... I was shaking.
And of course, we are playing some games.
Yep, we're still in a bunch, bitches. Oh my God.
I'm an aggressive accuser.
Really? You are. You're a dick.
Sorry guys, I had to bounce.
Oh my God.
Oh, you missed! Oh, you missed!
Ah, no! Intimidate? I don't know! Oh my God! Oh God! Oh my God! It worked! Okay, so I suck it, you blow it.
I got this fucking thing dangling from my gun now.
That's what he said!
Run! Run!
No!
What?
Bitch!
Oh my God.
Wow. Oh my God! Oh my God! Finally! Holy shit! Ah, shit! Oh my God! Dude, serpentine! Ah! I'm gonna pee my pants, I swear to God! Fuck this shit all day.
I missed it. I screwed it up. I hate when I miss it. Dang it. What's up, everybody? I'm going no headphones today. See how that goes. I have a question for you PC folks out there. So on a Mac, it's really easy to find apps. Like there's an app button. Click apps and it shows you all the apps you have downloaded on your computer. Does that exist on a PC? Because there was an upgrade. So this camera, we're using the Elgato Facecam. I can't find the camera hub anymore. I don't know where it is. And I can't find it. Even when I do a search, I don't know where it is. And it's essentially a tool that allows me to manipulate the camera a little more. And I can hear myself talking in the other room. Nikki has me blaring, apparently. You had a dream that we met IRL playing laser tag? Laser tag is fun. We'll meet with the community one day. We'll make it work. We'll figure it out. Team Black Baby Monk is going to carry the team. I mean, isn't he technically Team Green? Does anyone know that answer about where I could find the apps? It's very annoying. I feel like I should be able to open a folder, go into like this PC, and then have like... It's got documents, pictures, desktop... 3D, like what the fuck are 3D objects? Why is there a folder for 3D objects? But like the folder that I download this stuff into, I can't seem to find it. Oh, you think you're just gonna walk in and find the camera hub folder and the app? Okay. Just gotta remember what folder I downloaded it to. I just want there to be like an apps page. Why is there no apps page? I think at the end of the podcast today, at the end of the stream, well, it won't be part of the podcast, but it'll be part of the stream. I think once Nikki has to bounce out to go pick up kiddos, and then we're going to talk about Andor. Because I feel like there's finally something to discuss. I very much enjoyed the show. I think it's been really good. Last episode, like not last night's episode, the one before that, I was kind of losing a little bit of hope. And then I kind of started losing hope in this episode last night, and then the ending happened, and it was like, oh, okay. I feel like there's something that we could actually theorize about, which is kind of fun. Corrupt Snake, 9 months. Hell yeah, let's go. Finally happy you guys finished Cobra Kai. Same. I mean, it took us like 2 months. It took us forever. But this is how we do things. We don't binge watch content, so I think it's better that way for us. Apps and features in your settings. Let's find out. I love doing this on the fly with you guys. This is fun. Settings. Apps. There it is. There's the apps list. You gotta dig into the settings to find them. Good job, Trisha! Now let's see if I can find this camera hub. Maybe I deleted it on accident. I love we got a comment. They're like, you're missing out on the mega views. Like... that's too bad. Have you heard about Henry Cavill leaving the Witcher series? Yes. We talked about it on movie night, I think, on Saturday.
I'm almost done getting ready. I just wanted to come in here and be like, even somebody over in Ireland can come in here and see stuff.
It's not a matter of it's not a matter of findings. I didn't know that's where it was.
Thank you, Trisha.
Golly. But it doesn't look like the app's here. It looks like it's gone. How do you accidentally delete an app? Even if we weren't parents, I wouldn't change the way we do things. It's not necessarily a matter of schedule or busy. I mean, especially as our reaction videos have evolved. I actually went back and watched a couple clips from season 1 of Cobra Kai, and our format is different. We talk more. The editing is so much better. Iron Minotaur, tier 1. Goddamn, 9 months. Let's go, yo. Hell yeah. Thank you, Iron. It's like, even the way, like, even though the episodes are like 30 minutes, we still spend like 10 minutes talking in the open and then like 10 minutes talking at the end. And it's like, we talk a lot, and it'd be really hard to power through multiple episodes in one sitting. It just wouldn't work. I don't think oh, it doesn't tell you where they... You do talk a lot? Yeah. Thanks for joining us, Repo. Appreciate the comment. Apparently YouTube wants me to run an ad right now. No. Stop it. So I guess I have to re-download. I'm definitely not going to do that on the stream. But it looks like... Or maybe it got moved into the Elgato command center. Because there's like a command center for Elgato. Let's see. The control center. The control center only functions on the lights, so get that Twitch ad money. Not on YouTube, we won't. I'll have to figure this out off stream. I mean, I think it depends on what you want from your from your reactors. It's like, do you like having your reactors try to deep dive and analyze and come up with theories and try to figure out what's going on? Or do you strictly like them sitting there reacting to the show and then that's it? I mean, luckily there's this thing called the fast forward button, which is great. We get criticized all the time, like, you talk too much, from the people who don't like it. But you can just jump, and I made sure to put chapters into all of our videos moving forward. You just jump to the reaction if that's what you want. I like talking about stuff. If the show's good, then it warrants some discussion and theorizing and guessing and predicting and all kinds of fun stuff. That's what I love about watching content. And I think that's part of what I was losing with Andor is, it's like, yes, it was interesting, but on the flip side, there wasn't really anything to, like, theorize about. It's fun to talk about stuff. Like, especially the shows we're watching, you guys have nailed it with a lot of the suggestions over the years. And, I mean, Black Sails and House of the Dragon, like, there's a lot of shit to talk about when it comes to The Last Kingdom. There's some really good shit. And I just love throwing shit against the wall and seeing if it sticks or not. I love doing that. Oh, you're so dumb. How do you not see that was so wrong? It's like, I mean, it's the whole point. Slamming t-shirt. Amazon, I think. It's got a little scuffed, but gives it a little character. Avatar. Are you talking about like the movie? I've never even seen the first one. So I don't have plans on watching the second one. You could add that to my shocking list of stuff that I have never watched. I think Avatar is right up there with E.T. Yeah, the what did you miss thing was mostly a House of the Dragon thing, because it was weekly. I don't know what we're gonna... Do we do a weekly podcast on The Mandalorian when it comes back? Do we do like episode deep dives on that? I mean, we're definitely gonna do a wrap party on The Walking Dead when that's done. That'll probably be on the 23rd, because the final episode of The Walking Dead airs on the 21st or the 20th. Does anyone know when the Last Kingdom movie is planned? What part of the year? I would like to try to massage our schedule to be done before that movie drops. We're planning on having a podcast every week. The podcast wasn't meant just to be Game of Thrones launched the podcast the first time, and it kind of launched the rebranding of the podcast this time, and I want to try to sustain it. I love doing the live, doing it live is great. Like, we could do whatever we want live. We could just do, if we got nothing to talk about, we could just do an Ask Us Anything kind of thing and just talk. The podcast could be anything we want at this point. But with House of the Dragon, with the ending of Cobra Kai. We're probably going to go see Black Panther 2 on release day. So that'll be a podcast topic. We'll talk about that probably the Wednesday after. Because I don't think I could wait to watch that movie till it releases on Disney+. It doesn't feel like one of those movies that we should wait for. But we're going to, we'll do rap parties for The Walking Dead. I don't think doing podcast topics on The Last Kingdom is a good idea just because the show's out and it's just too easy to run into spoilers. Maybe we'll absolutely do like a rap party when we're caught up. But like movie reviews for new movies, we got a list of random topics that you guys have sent in. Like today's episode is going to be more than just recapping season 5. I think the bulk of this podcast is going to be ranking the 5 seasons. I think that's going to be fun. What was the exact reason Cavill left The Witcher? Was it the creative differences stuff? Or was it because of Superman? Or was it a combo of multiple things? And of course, anytime you're live with us, if you want to guarantee to have a comment read or addressed, if you got a question or anything, super chatting them is always the best guarantee to get stuff seen and read. And of course, joining the channel helps very much. So, the creative content, yeah, I heard about that. I did watch episodes. I think we're gonna talk about Andor at the end of the stream. But yeah, I watched it last night. I was up till 2 something last night, getting The Last Kingdom Season 3 Episode 1 posted to Patreon. So we have started Season 3 of The Last Kingdom. Holy shit, what a start. That show is fastly creeping up the rankings of my favorite shows that we've ever watched. Alright, what up? Yeah, so The Witcher is not being true to the source material, and that's bothering Cavill, who's a huge nerd. We love him for that. Big computer video game guy. Probably read all the books too. I mean, it's good that he's that passionate about it. It's a shame that's a reason to lose the star of your show. And probably the reason most people watch. Yeah, Liam Hemsworth, which we had a whole discussion about him too on movie night, and it's like the dude's in shape and he's ripped, but he's not built like Henry Cavill. I mean, not many people are. I mean, he's Superman for a reason. So that's gonna be a really jarring adjustment. I don't know how that's gonna work. He's a huge fan of the books. Makes sense. Some of the original writers on the show had mocked the books. That's just like, I don't understand the idea, and Star Wars is dealing with this a lot. I don't understand the idea of having people working on these projects when they don't love the source material. I don't understand that. If I'm like doing a Witcher series, or a Star Wars series, or a Marvel series, or a DC series, or anything, wouldn't you want to hire people who love the source material? I don't understand that mindset at all. I don't get it. It's not just that, but respect those that came before you. Don't call it The Witcher. Hollywood is out to destroy what people love. I mean, that's not good. They shouldn't be attempting to do that. That's not cool. I guess we're going to have challenges getting people here for the live content when we're not talking about Game of Thrones, huh? Alright, that's something to think about. The Halo showrunners said they openly didn't like the source material. The show was a disaster. Like, what's the point?
I want another cup of coffee.
Go get another cup of coffee.
I've decided that Halloween is not over, so we're gonna wear poison apple earrings. My Halloween was so shit this year. Anybody else?
That could be a good opening topic for a podcast.
There you go. Write that down.
Go get another cup of coffee.
I'm gonna go get one. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get another cup of pumpkin spice whole beans from Madrinas.
Hashtag sponsor. If you feel like taking creative liberties, making new creative content. Yeah. Yeah. I just don't like the creator of Andor doesn't like Star Wars. Like, why would you bring someone who has verbalized the mindset that you don't like Star Wars and have them create a Star Wars show? Like, why? Why? I don't get it. And like there was a writer for Kenobi who wasn't fully invested in the prequels. Like, what? I just don't I don't understand that mindset. If anything, I'd want fucking super hardcore geek fans working on my projects. The people who literally know the ins and outs and love everything about the content. That's who I want working on my stuff. That's why Favreau and Filoni make the best Star Wars of the current people who are making Star Wars. Because one, Jon Favreau is a super fan who knows his shit, and Filoni was essentially he was George's Padawan. He groomed him and like taught him and like he prepared him. And now he's a master and he needs to be in charge of all the creative. It needs to be him. I haven't talked about it, but I feel like this episode of Andor, up until the end, it was like last episode started to lose me, and then this episode started like there's too much repetitiveness in the episode. I don't give a shit about the one dude whose name I don't even know who just constantly keeps eating cereal. I think his name's Cyril. I think that's his name. That dude, I don't like him. I don't care about his story. I have no investment at all. And so I kind of started losing it a little bit. And then the end happened, and now we have some stuff to theorize, and we can talk about it at the end of the stream. Ahsoka is going to be awesome because the guys are so great. I mean, was it Filoni or Favreau wrote Boba Fett? I hated Boba Fett. I think Book of Boba Fett's my least favorite Star Wars show of all of the Star Wars shows. So they've proven to not be perfect. But yes, high hopes that Ahsoka is going to be awesome. Hey Juan, appreciate you. We love Cobra Kai too. One thing I want to start implementing on these podcasts is getting some interviews. I want to interview people. I used to interview people all the time. And see, the episodes with Mando from the Book of Boba Fett, I think we'll see what happens with Mando, but I hated their placement within the Book of Boba Fett. I hated that part. I hated that they implemented that stuff in that show. I hate that they reunited Grogu and Din in the Book of Boba Fett. That completely ruins the finale of season 2 for me. It's not like a big deal anymore because they immediately get back together. My favorite interview? I would say when I interviewed Tito Ortiz was one of my favorite interviews of all time. It's not that it felt rushed, it felt desperate. I think Tito Ortiz was one of my favorite interview. Yeah, I've interviewed lots of professional athletes from my Fox Sports days. Oh, stop it, John. You don't really mean that, right?
What?
It's a Star Wars thing. My major issue with Andor is calling it a Star Wars TV show. There's no sabers and no true action.
Ooh.
That's not... You don't...
Fighting words, huh?
Well, it's just...
Oh, what am I doing? I don't need those.
Yeah. I keep hearing people say that about Andor, and it's like... The universe of Star Wars is so massive that there's more than lightsabers and action. What's up, Reaper? Yeah, we're gonna get into Cobra Kai soon. Honestly, this sounds out there, but it's not a Star Wars anything without major action scenes and some kind of story connection to the other projects. How... I don't know if you're saying that Andor doesn't fit that criteria, but... I mean, the creation of the Rebel Alliance, the growth of the Empire, that's not connective tissue to original Star Wars?
Okay.
I don't know.
Let me turn the house.
I think Star Wars fans, and I hate to make such a general statement, but like sitting in Star Wars Theory stream and hearing what 5,000 people are saying about the show, I think Star Wars fans need to open their like mind a little bit to what Star Wars could be, and get out of the idea that Star Wars is just lightsabers, Force users, and a lot of shooting.
What's... Oh, hi. Oh, hi. Oh, sorry.
Star Wars fans are very tough because
We need a
George...
desk.
We don't. It's not the desk.
It's just me?
No, we have plenty of room.
Oh,
it's the
okay.
camera angle.
Oh. Ow. Sorry, I like to have my legs crisscrossed. Just, I don't know, it just feels
Crisscross
comfortable.
applesauce.
That's right. Just feels comfortable to my legs. I have notes. A little bit of notes.
I mean, compared to most Star Wars shows, you mean about legacy characters like Boba Fett and... I mean, Mando's a show about someone who's... I mean, he's a Mandalorian, but...
Should we make it extra cold up here?
Sure. I just want Star Wars fans to open their minds and accept other forms of content that isn't just about... Like, George didn't have an opportunity to make anything outside of the 6 movies, so we don't know what his mindset would have been creating content outside of that. So...
If we can get Steven to stop talking about Star Wars for a minute.
The idea that, oh, Star Wars is just this because 6 pieces of content were about that. Like, it's bigger than that.
Hi, guys! What's up, kids? Hi. What's up, Oliver? Oh, hi, Mark. Raymond, G-Man, John, Iron Minotaur, exclamation point, Iron. Oh, hey-oh. Hey, Amy, Geeky, Roxy, Brian, Jen. Yeah, I know, right? What's up, friends? Yeah, like I said before, Halloween's not over. Fuck that shit. Nails are still dark. Well, I painted them yesterday after I peeled off my blood drip nails. Put on some, I think this is called High Roller. It was like a Las Vegas collection gel manicure. And I just want to say, if you love black sails as much as we do, please go give Timber Reels a check out on YouTube. They are reacting to, they've reacted to season 1, episode 1 of Black Sails.
I mean, they've done a better job than we did on. We didn't even get our first reaction video posted for that show.
Hey, you said the video was corrupt. What am I supposed to do? Quincy, thank you for the $4.99. Nikki and Steven from Salem. Oh my goodness. Those are my parents' names. Ah, adore reactions and channel. Thank you so much. I love your name, Quincy. I love that. Hey, Shay Shay.
I look pissed. No, that's just
his face.
That's my face.
Honestly, like, sometimes I feel like I have, what is it? Resting bitch face. But then people walk up to us and they always talk to me and they never say shit to him. So maybe I don't have RBF. Yeah, there you go. I don't know. Do I have resting bitch face? Like if I look like this is my normal face. Do I have resting bitch face?
I am very annoyed though that I can't. That somehow lost my camera hub control.
I don't know. I don't think anybody can like not, when you have fun hair and purple eyelashes, I don't think people can be like, I'm not going to talk to her.
You ready to start?
Aw, John. You always have a scowl. Urgh. I don't have resting bitch face. Thank you so much. If you two were in Black Sails, whose crew would you want to join? Shit, I don't know.
I mean, Vane's crew seems to have the most fun.
That is true. That is true.
Ready to start this bad boy? This might be a long one. You have to
Yeah.
leave at what time? 1:45?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, here we go. For the next hour, talking about Cobra Kai. If you got questions or anything, make sure you get them in. We'll do full Q&A at the end for anything that rolls through, super chat-wise. So...
Get my hair to look like the iron chair. I don't think I could pull that off. Well,
how would you do that?
wow. Silver, I could totally do. Hey, Gary.
That seems like a tough thing.
Oh, you weren't ready to start? Okay, we're starting now, so I will, you know, if I see your comment, awesome. If I do not, I will totally get to it at the end of the podcast, but we're going to start recording now. So just a heads up, I'm not ignoring you. I love your faces. Let's go.
And now the moment you've all been waiting for.
It's time again for another episode of the Stikker Podcast with your hosts, Nikki and Steven.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
I am currently sipping my pumpkin spice Madrina's whole bean coffee.
Welcome to another episode of the Stikker Podcast. And House of the Dragon is a wrap for season 1, which means we need something else to talk about. And I think we've got the perfect topic because we finally wrapped up Cobra Kai. It only took us like 6 years to finish season 5. We're finally here. And the timing was perfect because we literally finished this season of Cobra Kai the same week that we finished the podcast with House of the Dragon.
Word.
And, you know, it's, as we're recording this, it is November 2nd. That means October is over. The scary and fun and Halloween stuff is over.
No. Halloween.
Not for Nikki.
Halloween never dies. Halloween never ends.
I mean, for the live
we all know.
viewers, you could see Sam is still hanging out in the background.
There's a Jason
And Jason
mask.
is still there. There's pumpkins and stuff. And
Where's Michael?
Nikki's...
Michael Myers is gone. Where has he gone?
I think the kid took him.
Oh, shoot. Well, the pumpkins are still up. They're never going anywhere. If we could turn those on, that would be fantastic.
I didn't turn any of the lights on, so...
How dare you, sir?
It's just It's a podcast.
Oh my god, there it is. Yeah, our Halloween not great this year. Not great.
It was really
I'll
quiet.
be honest.
Very quiet.
Steven got 4 trick-or-treaters while I was out taking the kids trick-or-treating with their friend. And
I
I'm
had work
disappointed.
to do, so I kind of manned the home, handed out stuff, but only like 4 groups showed
I
up.
bought so much candy from Costco. So we're talking full-size candies. I had the M&M shakers, the little mini M&Ms that came in like the full-size little like keepsake container. I had the full bags of M&Ms, the peanut M&Ms, the Sour Punch straws. I had
It was a good
the
good
Airhead
assortment.
bar thingies. I was ready to go. I even bought Sam. Sam, he scared away one of our
Porch kitties.
the porch kitties that I feed. But that's the only one that got scared.
No one else got
I'm
scared.
very disappointed. So I am wearing, for you audio listeners, I'm wearing my poison apple earrings from Snow White. But dang it, man. I was really, not even that many houses were participating.
Yeah.
We do have this one house that you can walk by, and Michael Myers is out there sitting on a bench, and their whole house is completely decorated, and it looks amazing. They
Yeah.
even have a gigantic jack-o'-lantern in their garage. I want him.
I just kind of feel like our whole neighborhood is kind of just chilled out on Halloween.
I think they've aged out. We have a bunch of old folks now.
Well, and the kids moved. The kids across the street moved. The kids next door moved. There was
So-
one house on our other side that used to go all out before the pandemic at least.
Yeah.
They used to go really big on their decorations, and
Now
they
we have
moved.
no one.
So people just kind of moved on, and yeah, it was kind of quiet. But we
Well,
did have fun Saturday night.
Yeah,
we went
we
to a
did.
party. We dressed up. We got to hang out and mingle with some folks our age, and the kids' softball team essentially had a little party. So
Yeah,
the
and
girls had a blast.
I love the softball moms. I don't know if they watch or listen to this, but I love y'all. Y'all are amazing. Get it.
Yeah. So yeah, from one thing that was a disappointment to something that was not a disappointment.
Correct.
How's that segue?
There you go.
Is that a good segue?
That works.
I think that's a pretty good segue. Season 5 of Cobra Kai, awesome. We're gonna do
You put some emphasis on that 5.
for sure. We're gonna do a full breakdown on 5, but before we jump into that season, I like telling this story, and if there is anyone here who hasn't watched our reactions or anything, this will probably be repeat for those who have. But I just want to talk about the start, the very beginning of this show, when it was announced, and then when I got eyes on the very first trailer.
Right.
I thought this was going to be an absolute joke.
I thought it was going to be corny as shit.
Well, I mean, it is, but
That didn't sound good.
in Cobra Kai fashion or Karate Kid fashion, it is. I was like, there is literally no way that these actors, and obviously we've seen Daniel, what's his name? Ralph Macchio, in other pieces of content. So the dude's got skills. He could act.
But-
he could get stuff. He never ages. But the idea that Daniel and Johnny can reapprise their roles 30 years later and have it be awesome just sounded like an impossible task.
I thought it was going to be that corny shit that, no offense to Jaden Smith, but that shit was corny as fuck. Their Karate Kid remakes,
Yeah,
Can't remake a classic.
I don't even know if I've seen those movies all the way through.
I've seen parts.
But-
I'm not interested.
I mean, it was a situation where within probably the first episode, if not the second episode, you knew the creators of the show, and it's something I was talking about before the podcast started. Having people on a project who not only just love the source material, but creators who are knowledgeable and just super fans of Karate Kid. You could tell because of the way they brought Johnny back, the way that Daniel was kind of brought back, and the way they were able to blend the stories from old Karate Kid into new Cobra Kai stories.
Right.
It was amazing. And I talk about it all the time, and it's just one of those things where it is truly the masterclass on nostalgia content.
Absolutely.
If you want to create something that is older and bring it back and make it fresh, go buy the Cobra Kai playbook. I feel like Top Gun Maverick followed this playbook very well also.
Excellent. One
of the greatest movies I've ever seen. And it's just one of those things where it's a really difficult thing to do, to bring back something that is, one, that hasn't been around for a long time, and two, was just so great. The Karate Kid movies, I love, like, talking about the trilogy, the 3 movies, I love them so much.
Same.
The story, the emotion, the fight sequences, the character development, like, all of the bad guys in the movie are all amazing. It is just an amazing trilogy. Like, we both grew up on it. Miyagi is the greatest teacher ever in the history of the world. And just watching Daniel grow and deal with things and then, like, face all that adversity just to win, and then goes into, like, the Okinawa, like, movie, and then coming back home, and then dealing with another tournament situation with bad boy Mike Barnes and Terry Silver.
Mike Barnes. Oh.
People talk down about Karate Kid 3, but I love it.
It's a part of it, okay? You can't, like, say, oh, that one's... No. It's a part of it. It's part of the story. You have to include it. There's no getting around it. Tough shit.
I mean, I just love the idea that Miyagi and Daniel, for the first time, really since the start, when he's trying to teach him, like, paint the fence and paint my house and wax my cars and all this shit, like, trying to get him to do that, it was the first time that they haven't been on the same page. And Miyagi just saw the bigger picture. He's like, no, we're not going to do the All Valley this year. We got nothing to prove. We did it for a reason in the first movie. There's no reason to do it again. And Daniel just kept getting put in these situations where he had no choice, because he was literally being harassed and bullied and getting his ass kicked to sign the contract.
Yep.
And the way that Miyagi and Daniel just clashed in that movie, and then having Daniel go through Cobra Kai and learn from Silver, and then when he realized, like, oh, this is really bad. Like, this isn't the place to be. I'm doing, like, he punched the dude in the club. When Miyagi and Daniel came back together, that was such a great moment. Like, now will you train me? Now I'll train you. Just, like, that story is just so good. So, obviously, these movies have a lot of meaning with the both of us. We both grew up on the movies, and every chance that they're on, I'm watching them, and
They're just, like, a good... I mean, there's some parts that are not so wholesome, but, like, for the most part... Every part of the movie is super duper wholesome. You can let I mean, because I'm talking about the violence part of it, like, but the violence isn't really even that bad.
Right.
But, like, you can let the kids watch this stuff. Like, it's not, it's so much better to put on than most crap that is on the TV nowadays.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like you're gonna be putting on Evil Dead for them or anything.
It's a great trilogy, an amazing story, and yeah, it's just, I think that's why going into Cobra Kai, it was like, there's no way it's going to live up.
Yeah.
There's no way you're going to be able to capture that magic again. And we just finished season 5. This show, hitting 5 seasons, is an insanely amazing accomplishment, I feel like.
And they started on YouTube Red.
Yeah. The fact
and now
that
they're all the way on to Netflix.
Yeah.
Like, you did stuff.
The fact that it's made it this far, the fact that it made it out of season 1 is honestly amazing.
Yes.
Because again, this show has no right being as amazing as it is. It is so good. And I mean, again, class of nostalgia content. You need to go watch and get their playbook and talk to the creators if you have any interest in reviving an old franchise that you want to create. But I mean, the use of legacy characters in this show, that is such a hard thing to do.
And having them fight each other.
Yeah, I mean, just introducing them.
Skipping ahead.
Yeah.
It's just so good.
I mean, just like pulling, like not even just having a story centered around Daniel and Johnny all these years later, but bringing back Chosen and Kreese and Silver, like bringing these characters back and reintroducing them is a challenge alone. Making it fit flawlessly within the story and have it be entertaining is such a hard thing to do. And their ability to like weave the old story with the new story with the kids,
right?
It's seamless and it's flawless, and we care about all these kids and everything that they're doing, whether it's a Kyler who we hate and just he's there, or it's like a Robbie or Tori or whoever. Like, we love these characters or we hate them, and I think that's a great sign of really good storytelling and really good writing. And
the great acting.
Of course. I mean, all the acting is awesome. The choreography is off the charts for some of the... Like, every season, it feels like the fights have gotten crazier and crazier, which is an insane thing because of what happened in season 2.
I mean, some of the acting does borderline, like, cheese.
But it's
the perfect
Karate
amount.
Kid.
It's the perfect amount of cheese.
Yeah, I mean, go back and watch the original Karate Kid movies. There's a bunch of stuff that just... It's cheesy, but, like, in the good way.
Yeah.
It's, like, not real, but... you suspend your disbelief because of what you're watching.
Right.
It's just so amazing. So let's talk about season 5. One other thing that we're going to do today is we're going to rank the 5 seasons, which I've changed my rankings 3 or 4 different times at this point. Every time I like think about a season, it was probably one of the hardest things to do, and it was I kind of compare it to like picking which one of my daughters I like more.
Whoa, dude.
It's like an impossible thing. You can't pick between your daughters, and trying to rank these 5 seasons is kind of what that felt like.
Taking
it's like
this to therapy.
I'm saying it's an impossible thing to do, which means I'm not going to do it.
How could you say that?
And just the idea that trying to pick and rank these seasons, so hard. It was such a difficult task, but we're going to get through that. But season 5, not to spoil anything with my rankings.
Well, I mean, spoiler alert, if you have not caught up with, all of Cobra Kai, do not
you don't even
proceed.
You don't even need to say that, because the show's been out a long time, and
good night, Trisha. I love your face.
it's the title of the video.
Just saying.
That's a you problem if you come in here not caught up.
I'm just saying.
But season 5 definitely felt like the biggest in terms of the production. The story obviously is the biggest, but I don't know what it is. Something didn't line up for me in terms of comparing it to the other seasons.
Right.
I love this season. I thought it was amazing, highly entertaining, but there were parts in this season that kind of was like, wait, what? Where are we going? Are we still watching Cobra Kai? Like, what's going on here? Where I think we'll kind of dive into it a little bit, but it definitely felt like the biggest story and biggest production in terms of like the choreography and the fighting. I mean, we got blood and limbs getting sliced.
Slices, yeah.
It was pretty wild in terms of what they presented in terms of the production. But it kind of felt like the kids' storylines, you could kind of like share your thought on this. Kind of the storylines with the kids were kind of put in the back seat a little bit. And the main focus was stopping Terry Silver and Cobra Kai from their world domination.
I think the kids mixed in with it pretty well because, I mean, it was a big part was the kids' relationships with Silver and how they're being affected because of his actions.
I feel like I mean, definitely had aspects of it.
Silver was like the main issue here, but...
And the adults.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there were still really good storylines that were hit on with the kids that we will talk about. But, like, it is an example of something where it's like, wait, we're in Mexico? Wait, is this still Cobra Kai?
Yeah.
Like, is this the same thing? So we took a little journey, like a 2-episode journey over to Mexico while, Miguel went to go find information on his dad after the end of season 4. And Johnny and Robbie went to go find him. It turns out that his dad ended up being a really bad dude. He was like... Which
is really unfortunate.
Yeah.
I feel that. I mean, but it goes along with the story, which, I mean, that's definitely why Miguel was brought so much closer back to Johnny. And I think while it helped mend his relationship with Robbie as well.
Yeah.
You guys are my family.
That was definitely the starting point of their relationship becoming a good one. But do you think we're going to see the dad again pop up? You think that story is ended? Do you think he's going to find any reason to make a return?
Maybe.
Like, if Miguel wins this world tournament, you think the dad's going to try to, like, get involved?
Maybe.
Like,
I mean, because they definitely don't add stuff just for funsies.
Right.
There's a purpose for everything. And maybe they might, I feel, excuse me. I I feel like they can always, they put stuff in there so they can maybe reference it later on or maybe not. But it, it all made sense. So it either sticks to those 2 episodes, and that's the reason why Johnny and Miguel are so much stronger together, or they're going to use it again for something else.
Yeah, I could almost see it a situation where Miguel's dad shows back up and somehow, like, partners up with Kreese, or, like, we'll talk about Kreese a lot more, but, like, pulls him into Mexico or something, or, I don't know. Because Kreese can't stay in the States because he's going to be a wanted man for assaulting officers and breaking out of jail. But part of Silver's grand world plan of domination in the karate world, we see a big jet show up and some folks showed up. And we meet Kim Da-eun. Did I say that right? I don't know if I said her name correctly. But
don't ask me. I'm terrible with that.
But she's the granddaughter of Kim Sun-young, who was the one who taught Kreese and Silver the way of the fist. Which, every time he said that, I thought that was kind of cheesy. But it's like, the way of the fist? Okay,
that's
whatever.
What it is.
But, like, that was really interesting. Her addition to the show was pretty cool because she was ruthless, she was a badass, and she had, like, a clear eye on the prize. She wants her father's karate to become worldwide. And they kind of failed that, and we'll kind of see where that goes, and we'll kind of talk about her a little bit. But I really did like, speaking of the kid stuff, I really like seeing the Kenny storyline develop.
Yes.
I thought Kenny was a character who was introduced. He was this computer video game nerd who isn't. I mean, those are the best type of people. We love playing video games. It is the best thing ever. And we see him getting bullied by Daniel's son, which is an interesting twist in the story. But then, we see this dude get taken into Cobra Kai under Robbie's wing, and then he starts to learn the way of Cobra Kai, and we see a big shift in his character and his confidence, and we really kind of see the Cobra Kai print getting put on him. And then the way his story ends, you kind of felt like there was going to be a big kind of letdown at the end when he has that reality check and realizes, like, oh shit, Cobra Kai is bad. Oh shit, Silver is bad. Oh shit, Robbie was right. Oh, all those folks who left Cobra Kai and tried to flip us were right. So his story has been really interesting because...
Are you kind of disappointed with how, when Robbie approached him to speak at the end, he was just, I don't really want to talk about it?
I kind of wish he would have, like, apologized in that moment just because of... I mean, they just literally had a giant brawl, and you got hit with some crazy reality and watched this dude who you thought was, like, helping you with your life essentially get his ass kicked by the other instructor. And it's like, oh shit, like, I was wrong this whole like, there was a lot and he's young, so, like, that's a lot of shit for a kid to, like, take in that moment. So I get why he wouldn't want to talk right away.
Well, no, I definitely wasn't expecting an apology. I don't think he's in any place to understand the vastness of the impact that his actions had on others and to apologize for that. I don't know about apologize.
Just like, hey, my bad, dude, my bad. Like, I fucked up, dude, my bad. I should have listened. My bad.
If he would have said my bad, I would have been pissed. I'm like, no, that's not what you say. But, like, I feel like there could have been at least a little bit more of a discussion other than I don't really feel like talking about it right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I wanted a little more from him, but on the flip side, I totally understand because you put that much stuff on a kid, they're not necessarily going to know how to handle it right away. And
no, he needs some parental guidance. What's up, pretty Nikki? He needs, like, he needs his dad. Let's be honest. He needs that daddy.
I mean...
He needs a hug from his mom. He needs his brother out of, like, jail.
His dad's not around.
No, I know his dad's not around. That's what I mean. He needs...
That's what he was looking at Silver for.
A father figure.
Right.
It doesn't have to, it doesn't, like, a good, strong, other adult father figure he needs in there.
I also thought the Tori story was really good.
I liked that. I liked that her and Sam were speaking to each other.
Her redemption, you felt it coming when she realized, oh shit, Silver paid off the referees at the All Valley.
Yeah. Well, in her arguments with Robbie, like, you can tell that she was totally torn, and she didn't want to have to be against Robbie, but she feel like she had to keep up the facade, but Robbie wasn't getting it. Like, hey, I can't just like come with you right now. I have shit that I gotta take care of first.
It felt like something that was pretty obvious that was gonna happen when she oversaw the whole transaction play out. And you knew it was one of those things that was absolutely crushing for her.
Absolutely.
Because of how meant the All Valley, like she said, it was the greatest moment of her life. And her winning that and having that validation and that feeling.
Her face when she's holding the trophy, she's walking up to the window before she gets to Silver and the ref. The look on her face is priceless. She's so happy. She's so excited. She's so proud of herself. And then she sees them together and it's just like, you know, her tower came tumbling down.
Yeah, and we got a lot more backstory on Tori in season 4, where we found out about her life situation and that she was working all these jobs to help her sick mom and her little brother and all that stuff. So yeah, her story has been a really interesting one, and I'm still holding out hope.
I mean, that was season 4, yeah.
Yeah. Holding out hope that her dad is brain farting on his name, is Dutch. Because, again, during the All Valley in season 4, she has the same movement as him, and kind of like talking about the character traits of her dad. It sounds like someone that fits as the character traits of Dutch. And I don't know if the actor has any desire to come back. If he doesn't, he should.
That would be awesome.
But they wrote in the story that he's in jail and all that stuff. So, yeah, I'm hoping that, again, I feel like he's the last big character from the original trilogy to bring back into the show. As I try to rack my brain about it, he was, like, obviously Dutch isn't like a main character, but he was one of like the most vocal. He was the most aggressive, I feel like, of the like Johnny's little gang that he had, and bringing him back, being the father of Tori, I think would be super interesting, and finding a way to weave him into the story. I mean, they'll nail it.
And he's not the put him in a body bag.
No.
That guy passed away.
He passed, like, the actor actually passed away.
The actor actually passed away?
I think that's why they did that episode, was because he was actually sick. And he ended up dying, which is very sad. So, obviously this season had more OG Karate Kid characters show up. Mike Barnes, I thought his involvement this season was a big letdown, but apparently he's an actor on a daytime soap opera, so he's got a busy schedule. He wasn't necessarily available for a lot.
Barnes.
That's pretty hilarious that he's a star of a soap opera, which is amazing.
Yeah.
But it was just the way that he showed up. He had a really interesting return, and then we didn't see him for like 4 episodes. And then in the finale, he gets knocked out and disappears till the end of the fight. Like, it was weird that he just didn't have a lot of involvement, but it's just the way it is. But, I mean, him, Chosen, and Johnny working together is one of the things that this show does amazing. It constantly gives you things that you never in a million years would have ever expected. The fact that those three, the 3 villains from the original 3 Karate Kid movies, they showed up and worked together to go beat up Terry Silver. Like, what? That's amazing. And just like moments in this season where Chosen and Johnny are basically sharing their war stories with Daniel.
I loved that part.
Amazing.
So much. That was some good stuff.
They do an amazing job in bringing these characters back. And like Mike Barnes, it was a little bit of a letdown, but it's only a letdown because of how amazing every other character's reintroduction was. The way Chosen, the way Kreese showed back up, the way they got Terry Silver involved, like Kumiko, they're all, the way they've involved all these people and brought them back, it was all flawless and amazing. So, not everything can be perfect, and obviously if he has a busy work schedule, nothing you could really do about it. But we also got Jessica Andrews.
Oh, I love
which, this is the first time that they reintroduced a character that actually surprised the shit out of me. I feel like a lot of the other ones were pretty predictable.
Yes, but so perfect.
You knew, Kreese was going to show back up. You knew Kreese was calling Silver at the end of, season 2. You knew, when Daniel was dealing with the car and business drama, and he was going over to, Okinawa, you knew he was going to run into some folks. Chosen was a little bit more of a surprise than Kumiko, but, obviously he's going to Tomy Village.
Kumiko.
Yeah.
For sure, because, there was a love there.
Yeah, you know he was going to Tomy Village to go visit. And like Mike Barnes felt like an obvious character reveal this season. But Jessica, like, I wasn't even thinking about her. I didn't remember where she was from. I didn't remember that she was from Ohio.
Teen Witch.
And the way they were able to weave the story into her being the reason that Daniel and his wife, like Amanda, like got married. Like, she's the one who set them up.
Of course.
It works.
I mean, there was no love interest there for Jess and Daniel because Jess always had a boyfriend. Like, I want to know who the boyfriend was.
Yeah.
Who's the boyfriend? I mean, obviously, he doesn't mean anything, but, like, yeah, Jessica looked amazing.
They all looked fucking... Like, everyone in this show looks amazing. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
They're all, like, in their 50s, and they look amazing.
Yep.
Unbelievable. But, like, the way they were able to use Jessica to tell that part of the story, a little background information, but then she was the one who got Amanda on board with understanding how much of a psycho Terry Silver is.
Which I love
and how much
that.
PTSD that Daniel's dealing with. So they needed to find a way to get Amanda on board, and using Jessica as a family member, amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It fit, it tied everything together, it put a nice bow on it, and then we kind of just like, the moment Amanda was on board, I feel like Daniel was able to like focus and get shit done.
Well, how did you not explain this to her when the shit first started going down? Like, that's a lot, like, that I didn't fully get. But I mean, I get there's like PTSD there, but like, that's your wife.
Yeah.
And you need her to understand something. Break it down for the chick, dude. Break it down. Like, tell her everything that has happened in your life.
Yeah, Jessica
Like, I'm not
even
gonna be talking
mentions it.
about fucking ex-boyfriends for no reason unless that person is deciding to come back into the life and they cause a lot of fucking drama. Hey, by the way, heads up, this person's a psychopath. You know. Sorry, talking about Teen Witch. Top that.
Yeah. But like Jessica kind of hinted on it where she was like, dude, it was a fucked up situation. Why would we want to bring that back up? There was no reason to. And by the time it got to a point where Silver got his claws back in on everyone, Daniel looked like a crazy person.
Exactly.
And Amanda, like, regardless of what he tried to explain to Amanda, he just looked like a nut. And even like, I went back and reviewed some stuff. Like, even in season 1, where Daniel and Johnny are having this issue, like, Amanda was always kind of like, dude, you're talking about a karate rivalry from your high school age? Like, you're nuts. Like, this always felt like a weird thing to Amanda because Daniel was consumed by it. And so the fact that she was able to get her on board, I think it was a really good thing. The fights in this season, amazing.
Yes.
I mean, that finale, that brawl at 2 different locations, and then the involvement in the weapons, just like, holy shit. I mean, again, we had a brawl at the school, in the mall, at laser tag, at LaRusso's house, they almost had one at the water park, they almost had one at the drive-in. I mean, the places that they had brawls at, and then the fact that they had the brawl at Cobra Kai and at Silver's house was, I mean, the fact that it was happening simultaneously, unbelievable.
The best.
The choreography in this show is so good, and
I would like to know how they get all that in. Like, how many cuts are there?
a lot of practice.
Yeah.
I mean, the kids are
Can I get a one shot?
so athletic. I mean, they're freaks. They're all really good at this. And I mean, just visually, it's all.
What is it? A one shot or a one take?
One shot. One shot where there's just no cuts. You're just cycling through. Yeah, those are usually the most amazing looking things.
Like The Haunting of Hill House.
Yeah, like Game of Thrones has
Bly
an amazing
Manor.
one.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really great. I mean, they did a whole Hill House. Was it Bly Manor that did a whole episode as a one shot practically?
What was it was the most
It was insane.
recent one? What was it?
Yeah, I think
called?
it was Bly Manor that did the one shot.
No, what was the with the pastor? What was it? What was it called?
Midnight Mass?
There you go, Midnight Mass.
So yeah, I mean, visually, this show does an amazing job, and like the fights are, I mean, it's a karate show. Everyone knows karate. They're all professional karate fighters, so of course they should have good choreography, and all the fight scenes should look great. I really enjoyed Daniel's storyline this season.
Yeah.
It went from essentially him being this crazy person who's being consumed by Terry Silver, who finally kind of makes the decision to like give up. He's like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
It's like too many people are getting hurt. And when Amanda got on board, she took Daniel to Mr. Miyagi's house and then took us into the room.
Which was like a time capsule.
The time
which
capsule.
I just love that.
Unbelievable. And she tells a story. And every time someone, whether it's Sam or Amanda or anyone who's had connections with Miyagi, anytime they're telling a story about something that Miyagi told them, it sounds just like Miyagi's talking. It sounds like the message is coming from him, because, I mean, it is. But, like, Amanda talking in that moment was so good.
I need to look up the interviews, if there's any of...
Oh, there's probably a ton.
From Pat, like, speaking about, like, his role and, like...
There's tons of that.
I mean, not even, like, the role, but, like, the relationships that he had, like, on a personal level with with Ralph and with William and, like, all those characters. Well, people. I would love to know that.
Yeah, I think when because you brought that up during one of the reaction videos, there were a bunch of comments that were like, yeah, there's tons of interviews that you could go look at. So
okay,
they're definitely there.
I'm going to write that down.
And then, like, to cap off that moment, Robbie kind of enters the scene and is like, you didn't fail me. And is like, dude. Like, as if it wasn't enough hearing, like, the story from Amanda and being in Miyagi's room, like, having Robbie, who has been through the fucking shitter in this show, has just gone through it, especially with Daniel. It was just so good, and it was just such an emotional moment. And then that's when, like, the switch got flipped, and Daniel was all in. And, you know, Kreese's storyline was so outrageous, it was entertaining. I mean, it's one of those things that kind of takes you out of the moment a little bit, being like, wait, are we still watching Cobra Kai?
Yeah,
like,
the Jello Man.
Is that what's going on here? And he's in prison, and he's trying to, like, find all his ways out, and the finale freaking fakes his death. Great swerve, Cobra Kai. You guys got us on that for sure.
With Jello.
With Jello.
He swerves it with Jello.
And then one of those things where he ends up assaulting some officers. I think he probably assaulted the doctor, too, to get out because he put his scrubs on.
Oh, absolutely. He totally, like, karate chopped that guy to the neck.
And then just walks out the front door and is like, what are you going to do now, dude? Which is something we'll talk about because I got some ideas. But, and there's some theories which are fun to talk about. But it's like, if you just waited like a day after everything that went down, and then Stingray basically revealed the truth, he didn't have to break out of prison. He would have gotten released.
Oh,
and he would never have to. He's
not going to know that.
He wouldn't have been a wanted man. So if you just kind of like, you know, have some patience, let the system work. Who knows? But speaking of Stingray, like, I've given him a really hard time in this whole show.
Well, because he didn't really... He didn't need to add... Well, like you said before, he didn't really need to add any comedic relief. Like, there was plenty of comedy.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't...
Johnny handled all of that.
Yeah, honestly. He's amazing.
Yeah. So, I mean, giving him a really hard time, I always just found him to be annoying. It was always kind of creepy, too. It's like, this dude's an adult, and he's, like, going to the high school, getting into brawls in the high school, like he's beating up kids, like...
Yeah, like you're doing too much, friend. You're doing just too much.
And I am very appreciative of the fact that he finally got an important storyline when he got his ass kicked and almost killed by Silver, and then having that redemption story at the end of the season. I thought it was good for him because, again, I have no problem admitting when someone has a shift. And it's like, I don't like Stingray. I didn't like him up to any of the episodes. I didn't find him to be necessary. I didn't think he was very funny. I thought he was quite cringy.
Oh,
but
the cringe was real.
Yeah. But his story ended up mattering. And it ended up being important. And I could appreciate that and I could acknowledge that. So I'm glad that they finally took a character like him and did something with him. And kind of like propped up the character a little bit. Because, again, Johnny covers all the comedy through the beginning to the end of season 5. Even when he's all fucked up, he's still funny.
Yeah.
So I think he does the comedy, and the show handles the comedy just well. It didn't really need Stingray. So
well, I'm glad he had a purpose finally.
Yeah, totally. So going into next season, there's of course theories going around. There's lots of that going on. The biggest one I feel like coming out of this season was this.
Question from Christian. That's a tongue twister right there.
Question from Kristen.
Christian.
Question from Chris. Yes.
Yeah. See.
Say that a bunch of times fast.
See.
It's tough.
Words are hard.
Yes.
Yeah. Main question would be what are your thoughts on the theory that Silver is terminally ill? It would explain why he wants Cobra Kai legacy so badly and what he was doing at the hospital. Also, he's talking about how money can't buy youth. Thoughts. And Steven told me about this question earlier, and I was like, oh, that does make sense. Why was he at the hospital? Why is he just all about the legacy? Because he doesn't have any children of his own that we know of.
Right.
I mean, like, maybe he does. Like, maybe he's trying to, like, I don't know, maybe he's trying to, like, get in touch with any, you know, children that he's had across wherever. But, like, it would make sense that he would be terminally ill. Like, that would be a very good storyline.
I think it would be a really interesting storyline. I feel like it would, at least with the idea of him being at the hospital, that he wasn't following Johnny or surveilling him. But this idea that, I feel like that would be, the moment the first person I saw say that, I was like, that almost feels too obvious now. The fact that everyone's talking about it, I feel like the Cobra Kai creators won't go down that route.
They'll swerve, yeah.
Probably. It's kind of like the vibe I'm getting. But on the flip side, if this is going to end one day, I mean, I guess it would make sense the only way for it to truly end is for Kreese and Silver to actually not be alive anymore. If that's how we're really going to end.
We don't know if he was at the doctor. Like, just because there's an OBGYN in that office building doesn't mean that that's all that's in that office building is a bunch of doctors. It's not like they were... I didn't notice if they were actually at a physical hospital or just an office building. So, like, that would have helped, like, with some information.
Yeah.
But, like, he could have been in a lawyer's office that just happens to be in the same building as an OBGYN.
Yeah. I mean...
Or at least that's the way it is here in our state.
I think that's the fun thing about presenting that kind of stuff and kind of analyzing his words. Because, yeah, he is super gung-ho about this idea of Cobra Kai lasting forever and having this big legacy and having this worldwide domination of the karate world. And the fact that he did make the comment about, oh, you can't buy it. Like, he can literally buy anything else that he wants. He can literally buy anything else. But if it's youth and health that he's trying to, like, you can't, if you're sick to a point that you can't be recovered, like, you can't pay for anything that will get you your youth back. And so it makes sense that he would talk that way if he is sick. I don't know if they'll go that way. It'll be interesting to see how they play it out and how serious they actually want the story to go. Because, I mean, we've seen one death in this show, and it was a really touching and really great moment where Johnny got to have a reunion with his boys, basically. So, and the actor really died.
Yeah.
So it was a way to kind of like close the book on a really good character. Like really, like the dude's gonna be, obviously he wasn't an iconic character, but he is forever gonna probably have the most iconic line.
Yeah.
Like, put him in a body bag. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's forever gonna be one of the most iconic Karate Kid lines ever.
Come on, I say it all the time.
So yeah, I mean, if they're gonna go serious that way, I'd be all for it. I like seriousness. I like when stories go hard, but it's interesting where like that theory popped up and then everyone started going with it and everyone think that's what's going to happen. I don't know if something being that obvious will play out in the show, but we'll see. I think the other big theory is about what Kreese is going to do now, because he's obviously a wanted man. Like, he can't just hang out, go back to Cobra Kai and like run the dojo. Like, he can't do that. The law enforcement will just show up and take him in. Like, that's a no-brainer. He can't do that. Obviously.
There's no way disguising that face.
Yeah. Obviously, this show does an amazing job of suspending disbelief and being like, where's the cops? Where's the teachers? All this friggin' mayhem is breaking loose.
Where are your parents?
And there's no one ever there to break it up, so...
Honestly, you just, like, leave the house, get into friggin' fist fights in the middle of the night, and no one notices?
No big deal. I mean,
I would be furious. I have that alarm system on. You're not getting out of shit.
It's like going back and looking at Robbie's first fight with Kyler in the cafeteria in season 1. It was like, where the fuck are the... It's like, you made the comment like, oh, hey, look, there's the cafeteria lady just watching. Yeah. Like, where are the teachers or the security or something? So...
Well, I mean, in that case, I would just be calling the cops, because there's no way in fucking hell I'm getting my ass beat up by a bunch of professionally trained karate kids. No, thank you so
Seriously,
much.
the whole school's professional fighters. What? But, like, the show does a really good...
Oh, Miguel. You said Robbie.
Oh, Miguel.
Yeah, sorry,
Miguel.
thank you.
The idea, like, this show, like, people are being assaulted constantly. No charges are ever, pressed. Like, laws are being broken all the time.
Like, breaking and entering.
It's like, nothing ever happens to these people, so I wouldn't be completely shocked if Kreese is just back teaching Cobra Kai. I don't think that's what they're going to do. I think the best theory and the most fun thing would be for him to go back with Sensei Kim. Because when she arrived, she was asking where Kreese was. She's like, where's Sensei Kreese? Like, oh, he's not here. That's unfortunate. So the idea that he's going to leave the country with her and go start a,
Globo Gym?
Yes.
We're having a Globo Gym?
A Cobra Kai outside of the States, I think would be a really interesting story. Because again, if he flees the country, that gives him a little bit more protection from getting arrested. And so, yeah, he could probably hide out a little better. And like Kim could keep... I fully believe that she's going to take over Cobra Kai. I think it's pretty obvious that she's going to take over because...
Well, I mean, unless, unless Daniel, Johnny, and Chosen try to take it over.
Well, she owns 50% of it because that was the deal with
Oh,
Silver.
that's right.
So she's a 50-50 owner. So she's absolutely going to take it over, but she's not going to do it in the States. I think she's going to take it home with her and probably take Kreese with her, and they're going to build it up from there. And I 100% think they're going to be involved in this tournament. If this next season's about this world tournament, I think Cobra Kai is definitely going to be there. So I think Kreese is definitely going to leave the country, and I think him and Sensei Kim are going to basically recreate Cobra Kai and do it in like a different place. And
so we're always going to have something to fight against.
Always. Constantly. That's why people are going to have to die if it's going to end. Because like Kreese is never going to stop, Silver's never going to stop, Sensei Kim's never going to stop. It's like they have this mindset and this agenda of this world global domination. I feel like that's the only way that it's going to stop. But do you see that as a reality for Kreese, or do you think he's just stay home and get arrested again?
Oh no, he's definitely not staying home again. Oh my God, no. Something's going to happen.
Do you think he leaves the country? Do you think he goes to Mexico, finds Miguel's dad, or do you think he goes with Kim?
I think he would probably go with Kim. I don't think how would anybody have any idea that Miguel's dad, besides Miguel?
People find ways to get information.
I don't think so. But I think definitely Kim for sure.
Overall, we're obviously going to we're going to do our rankings here in a second for the 5 seasons. But overall, I thought, again, another great season, highly entertaining. Rewatchability of these shows are so good.
Oh my God.
You could just turn on an episode and just watch it.
Honestly,
it's
you just
great.
leave it running. I love when you can put a show on just and leave it in the background and like where you're at mentally. Like Schitt's Creek, New Girl, background shows, Cobra Kai, background show. You could totally just have it in the background, go with it, and it's awesome.
Yeah. So another banger of a season, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger, which is just absolutely amazing. So, excuse me.
Oh.
So let's jump into our rankings. I talked about this off the top. This was a really hard thing to do. And the way we're going to do it is we're going to start with 5 and go down to 1. I'm going to ask Nikki for her 5, and then I'm going to share mine. We haven't shared each other's rankings, so we don't know what we got going on here.
So 5 being the worst?
5 being the lowest rate. Like,
Not the worst.
I don't want to say worst because none of them are bad.
I didn't mean that.
I love every season of this show, and the way I talked about it at the beginning, it's like picking between your children. Like, it's an impossible thing to do, and it was a difficult thing to do. And I did a lot of homework on this, and I tried to review it as much as I can, and I've changed my rankings like 3 different times. So the idea that we're going to rank these, I think is going to be fun. We'll try to kind of rip through them. We both have a lot of notes. I don't think we're going to hit on all the notes that we have.
Mine are just summaries of the seasons.
Yeah, and we can kind of just focus on why we love that season more than maybe another season. Because again, this, like, anytime we do a ranking, people are like, oh my God, you hated that. Like, no, it's not a matter of hating it.
I didn't hate anything.
Yeah.
I don't hate anything.
I loved every season. All 5 seasons, I love them all. Yep. This show is fastly climbing my rankings of favorite shows of all time. Because again, it's just the connection with Karate Kid, the way that they are able to weave new stories with old, and just the way that this nostalgia content is just amazing. So, starting with number 5, what is your 5th ranked season of Cobra Kai?
2.
Why 2?
It felt like it was kind of just like a filler, but not really a filler. Let me review these notes again. Oh, it was the introduction of Stingray. That's what did it for you? Yeah. 2 would definitely be number 5. I mean, Yeah, I don't really have like a lot. I don't hate it. It wasn't like the worst, but it was just number 5 for me because the other seasons did so much more in terms of like story building for me.
Season 5 for me is my 5th rated season, the latest one. Obviously it felt bigger than all the others, but for me, like even with all the great action and the callbacks and just the like overall story, just something felt a little off in terms of, did it get too big? Is that possible? Is it possible for it to get too big? And the overall story just getting too big. There was so much that I loved in this season. Obviously, Chosen was an absolute MVP.
Oh, yeah.
Him living with the LaRussos and him having a little bit of that, like, could he be the next Miyagi type of thing? Could he be the one who kind of, like, has that influence and that impact? He was hilarious, so he brought comedy as well. Him and Johnny together, amazing. Just so great. Just the idea of what they could be giving us in the future with, obviously, Johnny and Carmen having a baby. Watching Kenny's development, I thought was a big thing. Stingray finally being important.
You took way more notes.
I did. For sure.
Should have, no.
The ending for me, where we finally see Daniel doing the crane, amazing. Is the first time that we've seen him successfully use it since Karate Kid 1.
That's awesome.
And then him kicking, Kreese in the face as like step 3, can't see, can't fight of the Terry Silver method.
We'll get into the number 1s, but
yeah, and Silver getting arrested at the end, like obviously.
That's your number 5?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why this was so hard.
The lowest one for you was season 5. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I thought Barnes was the weakest of all the legacy characters being introduced. I was so excited to see Barnes.
I was kind of disappointed. I got you there. I was disappointed on the impact that Barnes had.
Even though I liked some of the young kid aspect of the show, obviously the Kenny stuff and the Tori stuff, I feel like some of the other kids were kind of not focused as much as they were in previous seasons, which I think the kid drama drives a lot of the show. Mm-hmm. And, obviously Robbie and Miguel getting on the same page is awesome. And Robbie trying to flip Kenny back and all that stuff is good. But I don't know, something just felt a little off for me. And it is, again, amazing season. It just had to be last on my list.
I have to make a suggestion. If you ever need recaps for literally anything, I highly recommend Man of Recaps.
Oh, he's the best.
On YouTube. If you need help figuring out, what happened in this season, Man of Recaps.
Yeah, he's the best.
He's amazing.
Do you want me to go first so you could review your thoughts?
No, because you talk too long.
Okay.
So number
4.
I said season 3.
Okay.
And I probably should have put that as number 5. So actually, I'm going to change my answer. We're going to put season 3 as number 5 and season 2 as number 4. But to just talk about season 3 for a second, Miguel was still in the hospital. Johnny's trying to rehab him. Robbie's in jail. Dimitri gets his arm broken. Tori joins Cobra Kai. Robbie joins Cobra Kai with Kreese. Miguel learns to walk. That's where we get Eagle Fang Karate. Mm-hmm. Sam and Robbie break up. Tori gets with Robbie. Dimitri with Yasmin. Johnny and Carmen together. Johnny goes to a party with Allie with an eye.
Allie, yeah.
Yeah. They have the Christmas party brawl where they break into Daniel's house.
Yeah.
Hawk switches sides.
So you move that to your 5th?
Hawk gets his head shaved.
You moving that to your least favorite season?
I don't know.
See, this is hard. See, you just gotta stick to what you wrote, just so we don't get too confused and get all over the place.
Season 3 was awesome. I guess maybe I'm gonna move it back. Season 2, you're number 5. Season 3, you're number 4.
I put season 4 as my 4th favorite. Building towards the All Valley and the return of Terry Silver. That's kind of like the highlight of this season. Again, amazing. The way they introduced Terry Silver, I thought was fantastic.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't like an immediate thing. Terry Silver needed a little bit of kind of like convincing to come back because he didn't really want to. Season 4 is where Johnny started Eagle Fang. And he went to
No.
Yeah.
No, it's not. You didn't watch the same recap I did. That is where Eagle Fang Karate becomes Kreese takes over Cobra Kai and he kicks out all of like the wimpy kids. And I just watched the recaps.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
Well, Johnny's out recruiting for the tournament.
Yes, he's recruiting.
Which I thought was hilarious.
Yes. Because season 4 is where they have the girls tournament.
Okay. Things don't really work out between Johnny and Daniel trying to work together to end Cobra Kai's reign. I thought that was a lot of fun, watching Daniel and Johnny try to work together.
Yes.
And they try to learn each other's karate methods.
Mm-hmm.
So Daniel sent Johnny through some pink defense, and, Johnny put Daniel through some Eagle Fang training, and Daniel kind of kicked some ass during that. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Season 4 debuted Kenny, who I thought had one of the best character arcs in this show up until the end. We see the All Valley. We're building to the All Valley, which is they made a bet. Loser leaves town match, basically. So we got a lot of great action, a lot of high stakes. Hawk beats Robbie in the tournament, which awesome for Hawk. I thought that was great. Tori beat Sam, which another great fight. And seeing Sam's development during the tournament, where she had a moment with Johnny earlier in the season where he made her jump across the buildings, and she realized that she needs to add some of Johnny's teachings, and it's not just about her dad's teachings. And they have a realization where during the tournament that hey, my way is not the only way, and they come together, and that's when Daniel announces Johnny as like and 2-time champ and all that stuff, and Sam does good, and then she ends up losing, and then she's like, I did everything the right way and I still lost, but then we find out that, Silver was cheating. Yeah. And then the turn.
But then she doesn't find that out until this season.
But we see Tori finding out about
I get that.
And then Silver turns on Kreese, and the season ends with, Cobra Kai going to Silver and Kreese getting arrested for the beating of Stingray, sending Kreese to jail, which that was a big twist.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that played out that way, I thought it was really interesting. And again, another amazing season. The way they introduced Terry Silver, I thought was flawless. I thought it was great. Season 4 is my 4th, so season 5 is 5 and season 4 is 4.
So I have season 2, season 3.
What's your number 3?
Number 3 is season 1.
Okay.
Are we agreeing on that?
Nope.
No? Okay.
I originally had season 1 as 3 and I moved it.
Okay. So, season 1. Johnny is an alcoholic, basically. He's got a shit life. He's still living through his teenage world, still, regretting the decision of his teenage life. He starts Cobra Kai. Sam is dating Kyler at the time. We had Aisha. Eli becomes Hawk. He's trying to overcome the lip scar. Robbie is with Daniel and Miyagi-Do. That's when, they didn't know that Robbie was Johnny's son. All Valley Championship, and Kreese shows up. Miguel starts dating Sam. Johnny versus Daniel. But I have to say, I was going through the recaps. I didn't fucking realize Anthony.
Oh.
I thought he was recast. That baby.
We watched him grow up.
Has gone through a huge transformation.
Yeah. He looks amazing now.
He looks so, and we're not body shaming anybody or anything like that. This kid, what a huge transformation. If that's the road that he wanted to take, good for him. Honestly, that kid, he looks so healthy. Not that healthy is any weight. That's not it. But what a difference. I thought it was a different kid completely. So kudos to the actor that plays Anthony. If that's the look that he wanted to go for, good for you, bud. That was awesome.
It's always really fun and interesting watching kids grow up in front of our eyes on screen.
I thought he was recast. Yeah. I didn't even know that was the same actor.
Yeah, because he was...
his little face is still the same face.
He was so young, awesome. And it's been 5-6 years, so we're watching these kids grow up.
That's awesome.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
My number 3, are you done?
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, okay. My number 3 is season 2.
Okay.
The rivalry grows between Cobra Kai and everyone else. It's the return of Kreese. The intensity of the show, I feel like, is at its peak up until maybe the end of season 5, where things start getting pretty crazy. The drama with the kids was the hardest thing to keep track of in terms of what season, because it's like they've all dated each other. They've all hooked up with each other. It's like Sam with Robbie and Sam with Miguel and Miguel with Tori. Like,
you need to get new circles.
you need a flow chart to
Honestly.
determine, like, wait, what season were they together? And I totally forgot.
Have you dated Sam?
I forgot that
Then
Sam started with Kyler.
That means that you've also dated Kyler. You've also dated Robbie. You've also dated Miguel.
Yeah. So, like, the love triangle is real with Sam,
It's
Miguel, Robbie.
It's like a love hexagon. Octagon?
Something like that.
Sure. It's definitely not a triangle.
Tori making her appearance, I thought, was a really good one. And I thought she turned out to be such an amazing character. The mall brawl. You already talked about season 3 or season 2, right?
Correct. That was my number 5.
Yeah, Johnny getting his reunion with his old Cobra Kai gang, minus Dutch. That was one of my favorite things. They ride bikes, they get into a bar fight, and Tommy is the one who ends up dying, literally gets put into a body bag, which I thought was fitting, but also very sad because the actor really did pass away. And again, it's one of those moments where it flowed perfectly within the story. The fact that, like, he had one of his buddies was older and sick, that he had to go leave and go see them.
Didn't they do a dedication on the show for
Probably.
him? And I feel really bad that I've completely, like, forgotten about that, and I apologize, because rest in peace. That's just unfortunate.
And while he's gone, we see Kreese take over and things get a little more extreme, and Johnny and Daniel get into a fight. The school brawl was absolutely nuts. That was like the first real, like, oh shit moment of the show, I feel like, where the brawl breaks out and kids are just fighting everywhere and everyone's fighting everyone, and like Stingray shows up and he's at the school because he's applying for like some security job at the school. Like, who would hire you? Get out of here. And just everyone is literally fighting everyone. All hell's breaking loose. And Robbie and Miguel end up fighting, and Miguel's winning the fight, and he shows Robbie mercy. And then Robbie kicks him over the banister, and he goes flying down and lands on the handrail, and it's like, holy shit. Like, that's where I'm like, did he fucking die?
Honestly,
like, is he permanently paralyzed?
How he lived from that is shocking. But I mean, again, a show.
So insane. And because of all that, Johnny ends up leaving Cobra Kai and Kreese fully takes over. And is this the season where he threw the phone and Allie accepted his Facebook request?
Which season?
Season 2. That was the end of season 2 where he
of season 2. Yeah, Allie accepted Johnny's Facebook request.
So, like, that was pretty amazing that we knew. Again, like, they give you signs that something obvious is coming, that obviously at some point Allie with an eye was going to make a return. But
I loved that.
Amazing, really, really good. And again, another really good season. I had season 2 higher on my list until I made multiple adjustments to it. But what do you have at number 2?
I have season 4 as number 2.
Okay.
But it's a toss up between season 4 and season 5 because I really liked those. I mean, maybe it's recency bias, but season 4, Johnny and Daniel join together, try to teach each other. Kreese and Robbie teaching Cobra Kai the Miyagi-Do moves. Kreese gets Silver back. Miguel and Sam get back together. Miguel goes back into Miyagi-Do. Sam learns Eagle Fang. Sam leaps across buildings. Johnny Daniel rematch. Silver undermining Kreese.
That's where they knocked each other out, right?
Yeah.
They had their official...
Yes. Kids fighting still. Hawk gets his head shaved. Tori gets fired. Amanda tries to help Tori get back into school. Sam still hates Tori. Kenny gets bullied by Anthony. And then Kenny becomes the bully to Anthony. Silver pays off the ref. Miguel goes to Mexico. Silver gets Kreese arrested and uses Stingray.
Yes.
I have all these things. Hawk was with Moon. Johnny's with Carmen.
Season 4 was great.
That's where you meet Devin Lee.
Yeah.
And then, Hawk wins. Tori and Sam fight. Yeah.
I put season 1 number 2. And it was hard. Like, originally I had season 1 low. But then as I was doing my research and like watching some clips and like I almost put this number 1. Cause the challenge that this show had with season 1 was so high. It's like the reintroduction of Johnny Lawrence was fucking amazing. It was so good. I mean, the way his life was in complete shambles because of a kick from 30 years prior, and just the way, just watching him develop, I mean, he's like easily my favorite character in this show through all 5 seasons. The way he's just developed, and I mean, it was the start of the show, so I had to give it extra points just for that.
Yeah. Going
in with no expectations that this was going to be a joke, and being blown away, it was so good. I mean, Johnny becomes such an amazing character, and we actually see him taking the Miyagi role,
right,
which I thought was really fascinating. Him taking Miguel under his wing and teaching him, and then him... Oh, what?
Robbie.
No, Miguel. In season 1, he takes Miguel under his wing. Miguel's the one who starts Cobra Kai.
Johnny does.
That's what I just said.
I thought you said Daniel.
No, I'm talking about Johnny.
Yeah.
Johnny takes Miguel under his wing, essentially starts Cobra Kai with him.
Yes.
Miguel has that crazy brawl with Kyler in the cafeteria. And the way, like, one of my favorite things of reviewing this was the way Johnny explained the whole situation with Daniel to Miguel. And there's a great YouTube video about this that you guys all need to go check out, where it paints Daniel LaRusso as the villain in the Karate Kid 1.
Which it totally makes sense.
It's hilarious because it's like he like swooped in on Johnny's girl. Like, obviously he didn't know the situation. He's the new guy in town. But like the way Johnny paints that picture, I absolutely love the way he talked about it. And then the way we're introduced to Daniel, where he's got this super successful car dealership. The dude's got money. He's got commercials. It's almost like, dude, this guy's kind of an asshole. And I actually remember watching during the first season, I'm like, Daniel's kind of unlikable.
Kick the competition.
Yeah. And I kind of got that vibe that, like, oh my God, they were able to flip the script in season 1, make Johnny the empathetic character, and Daniel's kind of like the jerk. Yeah. And it's like, holy shit, like, that was crazy. And like the way Johnny reopens Cobra Kai and Johnny and Daniel have their first encounter when all these years are past, it's just...
To go back to that whole, like, Daniel is the bully, the skeletons were just in the bathroom, not bothering anybody.
He definitely initiated that ass whooping.
Smoking their guns.
Yeah.
And Daniel is the one with the freaking hose. He didn't have to do that shit. They could have had a very nice time at the Halloween party.
Totally.
He could have just been in his shower.
Invisible Man.
With his freaking egg on his head with Allie, and nothing would have gone wrong. He started that shit. He didn't need to start that shit.
Yeah, and he didn't have to, like, get in between the drama between Allie and Johnny.
No,
like,
you could have been a supportive friend on the side.
You could have, like, seen that playing out, and it's like, I'm going to let them, like, I'm the new kid in town, I'm going to let that play out, I'm not going to get involved in that.
Word.
But it's just a really interesting thing to even discuss, because the fact that there are people who can see the other perspective, and then hearing Johnny talk about it all these years later, I thought it was amazing.
Yeah.
And then we get this scene where Daniel's trying to figure shit out. He doesn't really know what the hell's going on. And he goes and visits Miyagi's grave, which...
I love that.
I feel like this was the first time that we got something with Miyagi. And they give us the flashback about Miyagi's lesson about balance. And I feel like that's when we get the shift in Daniel. Is, oh, shit, okay, I need to have some balance in my life. And we see him starting up Miyagi-Do. He starts training again. He cleans up the dojo, and he tries to recruit as many people as he can to fight and train with him because he just needs a training partner. And then that's when he ends up getting Robbie, because Robbie's like kind of infiltrated LaRusso Auto to piss his dad off and all that stuff. So
right.
We get the 50th anniversary of the All Valley where Miguel wins. Awesome. And then Kreese shows up at the end, which, again, I had this is the season that I bounced around a lot, but I ended up slotting it number 2. What do you have as the number 1 season of Cobra Kai?
Season 5.
Season 5.
Kreese is in prison.
Wow.
Silver takes over Cobra Kai. Tori confronts Silver. We get help from Chosen.
Yeah.
Danny and Johnny. Really?
Danny boy. Danny boy.
Daniel and Johnny close down Miyagi-Do and Eagle Fang. Johnny and Robbie go after Miguel to bring him back. The relationship of Johnny and Miguel is strengthened. We find out he's having a baby. We're gonna have big brothers.
Yeah.
Miguel and Robbie, get over their issues. Sam and Tori work their shit out. We get a deep fake of Johnny.
Oh, yeah. That was an awesome moment.
Deep fake of Johnny with Kreese in prison.
That little therapy session was one of the coolest scenes in the show.
See, that's what I'm saying. That's why I put number 5 as number 1. Chosen professes his
I have my
love
reasons
for
for what I have
Kumiko.
number 1. That was a fun moment. That made me nervous for Chosen.
Amanda finally understands what the fuck is happening.
Yep.
Robbie's a good guy. Miguel's a good guy. Kenny finally figures out that Silver's a fucking joke. We see the silver bullet.
Yes.
Yeah. We do get a little bit more understanding about Tori's life. Penis Breath is a traitor.
Mm-hmm.
And then Stingray has his purpose. And then we see all the fighting. It's good.
So I put season 3 at number 1. And I think it just goes to show how much of a sucker I am for nostalgia. Because this season gave me all the feels. And I loved it. I kind of highlighted every season with like a quick little summary. And I called it the Redemption and Returns. The R&R.
Because of the flashback of Kreese's military service?
No. We're going to talk about season 3.
That's the season 3.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
Oh. Okay.
I'm talking about all the other stuff that happens.
All right.
Miguel and Johnny take a big step as Miguel's rehabbing. Mm-hmm. And you see that relationship grow. Chosen. The Chosen, Kumiko, and Yuna. Those 3 showing up in this season absolutely blew me away.
Well, because that's where Daniel goes back to Okinawa.
Yes.
Okay.
And I, just something about that, the music, just going back to Tomi Village and obviously it not being the same thing, just seeing Chosen and Daniel again together, and Chosen's trying to be all serious and angry with him, and then, flips it, and he hits him with the honk as they're training.
I did love that.
Such a great little moment. And the fact that, Chosen taught Daniel some secret, unknown to him, Miyagi-Do techniques, I absolutely loved it. The Kumiko moment, seeing Allie with an eye in this season also at some point during the party and the holiday stuff, and then seeing Yuna, the girl, the girl bell ringer during the big storm.
Yeah.
And the fact that she's ultimately the one that saved Daniel's business. So, the moral of the story is, if you could save someone's life, go save their life. Go help them. And it came back all these years later to help him out. I loved getting the flashbacks with Kreese. You just kind of mentioned those. I thought that was really cool because, again, it just creates more character depth and more development for the character. Mm-hmm. And seeing how, Cobra Kai was actually created. Because they were literally having death matches over a Cobra pit. And it was just...
Yes.
Amazing how...
That was wild.
Yeah. That's one of those things that's just so outrageously, entertaining. It's they were actually being forced to fight Mortal Kombat over a pit.
Yes.
Unbelievable. Hawk's redemption in this season, I absolutely loved it. And watching him during that big brawl, where him and Kyler kind of Kyler's yeah, cool, dude, awesome.
Speaking of Kyler,
he realized that, Hawk finally realized he was on the wrong side of the show. And he goes from bullied nerd to asshole Cobra Kai bully back to good kid and joins Miyagi-Do. Mm-hmm. I loved Hawk's story throughout this show, and the fact that he ends up winning in All Valley is just amazing.
I love that they're friends in real life.
Oh, that's awesome. But Hawk's story is one of my favorite of all the kids, so that's part of another reason why. Johnny Kreese and Daniel fighting, with Daniel winning. He beats... the fact that we finally got a Daniel versus Kreese fight, I thought was amazing, and then he used a technique that Chosen showed him to beat Kreese. awesome. I love that stuff. And then just Johnny and Daniel at the end coming together, even though it ends up not necessarily working in the next season, even though it ends up working in the next season, even though it ends up not working, but it ends up working. It just keeps going in the cycle. I love seeing Johnny and Daniel standing there together in agreement and on the same team to win the All Valley.
Yes.
I think the nostalgia aspect, the coming together of just Johnny and Daniel, the redemption story, that's my number one season for me. I just, all the Okinawa stuff just eats me alive. Like, it's just, I'm a sucker for all that stuff.
That was really good. I loved seeing Kumiko. Like, she was just like, you know, like when you're originally watching, what movie is it, 2?
Yes.
And you see her, and like she has such like a big impact on Daniel. Like you just love her from like every moment that you see her on screen. Yeah. She's so good. And
all these years later, still having that impact.
And she's just gorgeous.
I mean, none of these folks aged at all.
Honestly, it's not fair.
They all look fantastic.
They do.
All of them.
They do.
So there's our rankings. What? Go through them again in order. From worst to first.
Season 2, Season 3, Season 1, Season 4, Season 5. So 2, 3, 1, 4, 5.
And I've got it 5, 4, 2, 1, 3. Cool. And really, all of them together. I mean, this show is amazing. This show, again, this was such a hard task because literally every season has something that I absolutely love and just want to keep going back to and get emotional about and get excited about. It's just a nonstop, I feel like if I did the rankings again tomorrow, they would be different just because of how much I love this show. But yeah, do you have any final thoughts on your rankings and this show as a whole?
I just wanted to reiterate that I loved every single episode of every single season, and I wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah, I agree. We're definitely on the same page there, regardless of what our rankings are. It's just, again, masterclass in nostalgia content and one of the best things ever created when it felt like it just wasn't going to be anything special.
Yeah, from corny AF to the best show ever.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable. So,
yeah.
Anything else?
Nope, I got to go pick up kids.
So that'll do it.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Are there questions from the live chat?
I didn't see any super chats roll in.
No super chats, but there's some random questions.
I'm gonna hang out with them for a little bit.
Okay.
While you pick up kids. What's for lunch today?
I'm not sure. That's questionable. Una is actually running for office in Hawaii now. I love that.
Oh.
Yeah, they do kind of give it the Miyagi feel. They do. Because Miyagi loved...
Gives what the Miyagi feel?
Chosen and Kumiko.
Oh, 100%.
Like, you know, Miyagi's love, still in Okinawa. Mm-hmm. She always waited for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was fun to talk
really
about
sweet.
Cobra Kai and Karate Kid.
Yeah. What is Karate Kid 4? What is that?
That's the one with...
Jaden?
No. With... It's got...
Hilary Swank?
It's got Miyagi in it. Yeah, with her.
I don't know about that.
I mean, people say it's pretty good.
Do you like Robbie's story better than Miguel's? Maybe. I think they're on the same...
I think Miguel... I feel like the Miguel going to Mexico storyline kind of just... That's one of those things that kind of sucked me out of the season a little bit. Being like, wait, we're not in the same world anymore, but we are. Mm-hmm. So... It was a really hard thing to do, ranking them. It was really hard.
I'm not sure if I'm a huge fan of Hilary Swank. I'm not quite sure. I did watch $1 Million Baby.
Yeah, I definitely haven't seen that movie.
I guess
we'll have to watch it one day.
I need to know if Hilary Swank is a good person in real life.
Why?
Because if you're a shit person and you're like a diva or like a douchebag in real life, I'm not going to like you in movies.
She's still in stuff?
Yeah, karate's for defense only. Alright, I gotta go pick up kids. Love you guys. I'll see you on Discord, and help Steven decide what's for lunch. Okay, bye. Love your faces.
Good job, babe.
And Halloween is never over. Not never. Bye, Sam. Have a great day. Make good choices, bud.
Thanks, Jason. Oh no, she spilled coffee. Do you think Kenny should have apologized better? Yeah, I kind of talked about that. That was one of my disappointments in the way he kind of acted towards the end. Birthday tomorrow? Happy birthday. Are you aware that Honest Trailers have done House of the Dragon? No, I don't. I'm not subscribed to Honest Trailers. Even though most of their stuff is pretty hilarious. Do you guys want to talk about Andor? I think Andor is very good. You heard Andor is mid from people who just... They're not accepting of this version of Star Wars, unfortunately. It's just different. I thought this was the first episode. Like, I'm not gonna lie, the last 2 episodes started to lose me. Just because it's got... Like, the last 2 episodes have been so repetitive. But there's actually something to like theorize about after this last episode, and the ending, I think the ending redeemed the episode because it was episode 9, right? So there's 10, 11, 12, there's 3 more. Karate Kid Nintendo game? Maybe? I mean, I had every Nintendo game growing up. Why do I think the critics are so hard on Andor? I think it's a combination of things. It's a slower paced show. It's deliberately slow. It deliberately has no Force users in it. It deliberately isn't about the Force or the Jedi or the Sith. We haven't seen anything from Palpatine. And there's a lot of really powerful dialogue and character and acting in it. It's just, I don't know. There hasn't been a ton of action, and I think that throws a lot of people off when watching a Star Wars show or any Star Wars content. I'm very much enjoying it. Again, I mentioned how the last 2 episodes started to lose me a little bit because it's the one problem that they have is that it takes them too long to get to the thing. Whatever they're building towards, it takes them a long time to get there. And so it started feeling a little repetitive for me. But again, the ending kind of set up the expectation something crazy is going to happen. Do you think Star Wars hasn't gone over and beyond by creating shows? Or are you all about it? I mean, I'm definitely not all about it. I'm very critical of Disney Star Wars. And there was an article put out the other day. It was like more of like an opinion piece versus a like actual taking quotes. It was like an insider revealing information. How they basically admitted to the sequel trilogy sucking. And they're committed to getting it right. And I'm just like, do they even does Kathleen Kennedy and her team even know how to get it right? Because if they are dedicated to getting it right, they need to put Filoni in charge of creative and let him implement the true mindset of what Star Wars should be. So them coming to this conclusion that they like rushed through the sequels just to hit deadlines, like it's nothing more than a business to them. They don't hire people who have a strong passion outside of Favreau and Filoni. And you could feel that from the content that they actually produce and create. This idea that their next movie is going to be kind of taking place right after like the Rise of Skywalker timeline and will possibly be using sequel trilogy characters, I think it's a horrible idea. It's just... I don't know why they would go back to the timeline that completely divided the fan base. Because when we got Star Wars again and it was The Force Awakens, people had their reservations about it because they're like, oh, this is just a remake of A New Hope. It's not creative. It's not original, this and that. And then we got The Last Jedi, and that completely ruptured the fan base. They completely tore us apart. They made us pick sides, and it just kind of has gone downhill from there, because then Rise was, I mean, say what you will about the movie, I like it a lot more than Last Jedi, but it's still a fucking mess. And then we get like this, like Mandalorian is like the bright spot in all this, but Book of Boba Fett wasn't good. Like the Kenobi show wasn't focused on Kenobi. It had its moments, but overall wasn't a great show. It's just, we're kind of down in the dumps right now on Star Wars, and it just doesn't feel like it's going to be like a hard thing to crawl out of. I definitely think Force Awakens is the best sequel trilogy movie, but I like it less and less every time I watch it, just because like you could tell that there's clear beats put in the story that get completely ignored and just overlooked when Ryan took over the trilogy, when he did Last Jedi. I wouldn't say Hollywood is set on destroying content, because one of the greatest movies ever created just came out recently, and it's based off of a movie from my childhood. So there's still good creators out there. It's just they're not doing a good job of hiring people to make the content. I mean, Top Gun Maverick is one of the greatest movies I've ever seen. It's easily one of my favorite sequels that I've ever watched. So I just think we're in a bad run currently. What's up, KGL? Doing good. I mean, Rogue One is easily the best movie from the Disney slate, and I feel like they haven't been able to capture that magic with Andor. Sandwiches for lunch? Probably. I mean, we'll see. We will see. I mean, it's really hard to make good, to reboot a franchise. Like, that's really hard to do. And we just spent like an hour and 15 minutes talking about Cobra Kai, how they did it. Top Gun Maverick is an example of it. Star Wars is an example of it failing. It's an example, like, regardless of what you want to say about Luke and whether you like that story or not, it wasn't done well. From a production standpoint and a story standpoint, it was not done well. There was not enough, I did a whole video on this, there was not enough visual storytelling to support what Rian Johnson did to Luke in The Last Jedi. It's just the bottom line. It's just, it's such a hard thing to debate, because there's like a handful of couple lines in there where we have a history of Luke from the original trilogy where it's like the dude stood toe-to-toe with Palpatine getting Force lightning and was gung-ho on turning his father back to the light, but like his nephew's gonna scare him to the point where he's gonna try to like he's gonna pull a lightsaber out. Like, no. And then run away and detach from his sister and Han. Like, no. Without like the true visual storytelling to support that shift in a character, it doesn't work. I'm all for characters changing and shifting, but you need to have the story there to support it, and it's not there. You can't just throw a couple lines in and have like Luke Skywalker, who's the most optimistic, hopeful character in the universe. You can't just be like, oh, well, I saw the darkness way worse than him and I was scared, so I ran away and he destroyed everything. I took off. Well, it's like, so what? Bryce Dallas Howard's an amazing Star Wars creator. She needs more Star Wars content, for sure. Ghostbusters Afterlife did a good job. We still haven't seen that movie. Do we need to see anything before we watch that? Or can we just go right in with the original Ghostbuster movies? I think that's on our list of movies. Oh yeah, Bryce was the voice of Yaddle. That was cool. Tales of the Jedi was... I'm so torn on that. You could just watch it? Okay. Yeah, the first two Ghostbuster movies are iconic. Those movies are awesome. They reference a lot from the original. Oh, maybe we'll do like a refresher just to get caught up because it has been a minute. But yeah, I might put that on the list soon for a vote. If you didn't know, members of the channel get the vote. If you want to join the channel, we appreciate it. You get some perks. Also, there's gifted memberships too, which obviously super grateful for anyone willing to do that. I loved Tales of the Jedi. It just wasn't enough. It was kind of a tease. Like, they were too short, and I want more Dooku. Dooku's story is so fascinating to me, and it was just too short. It wasn't enough. It left me... You know that feeling of wanting more after you watch something? There's positive and negative versions of that. And I kind of had that negative feeling of like, oh, that's it? That's what you're gonna do? Oh. What's up, Southern? KGL, thank you for the tier 1. Thank you for joining. Appreciate that. It's one of those situations where watching Dooku turn was fucking awesome. Turning Han Solo back into a smuggler in The Force Awakens after he was general without any detail again. I think there was enough detail for that. It kind of like their conversation when their son went dark and destroyed everything and Han and Leia just went back to what they knew best. I think that doesn't hurt my feelings enough. Like, I feel like that one line like connected for me to where that didn't bug me. The part that bugged me about Han's character development was that he basically became a dirtball dad. And like they kind of messed that part of his character up a little bit. You and Nikki are my favorites. I just got into your Game of Thrones videos. Awesome. Oh, thank you. Awesome. Thank you. I've talked about this a lot, like many times before. There's certain things in a story that will offend you and you'll hate the way that it's done, or it won't bother you and you'll accept the explanation. The Han stuff is one of those things outside of him getting his name from Solo. His story doesn't offend me to the point where I hated what happened. I have the tour idea written down. I want to figure out a way that we could basically do a stream room and a reaction room tour. Just kind of like a Cribs version of our setups. I would like to make that. I just got to find the time. But the Inquisitor and Ahsoka scene was so cool. But again, I want more. And obviously we're going to get more with Ahsoka, so I'm not too worried about that aspect of the story. But like, I want more Dooku. Count Dooku is one of those characters that I am so intrigued about. I want to like the Sifo Dyas stuff, like go deep into his story and really kind of dive into his development and his issues with the council and like him handling Qui-Gon's death was so short. Like, I feel like that could have been so much more emotional and more powerful. There's so much to that story that I want with Qui-Gon. And, I mean, animated makes a lot of sense because it doesn't matter how old or how young the actors are anymore. Like, they could just create the content. They just need their voices. And the way Filoni does the animated, it's amazing content. It's really the only animated stuff that I love. And I still don't even get that or How Dead They Are, true. I still don't get that emotionally invested, but because it's Star Wars, they know how to hit all the like Star Wars notes, which I think is great. Dooku's actor, he passed away. I don't think I knew that. Maybe I knew that. I don't know. Oh, Christopher Lee. Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, he was in The Lord of the Rings. Yeah. But yeah, as you guys know, I could talk Star Wars all fucking day. I would love to have a Star Wars podcast like Star Wars Theory has. Like, that would be so much fun to just talk Star Wars. Oh, the sex bot has made its appearance. It means it's a successful stream. Gotta find ways to get more people excited to come hang out live. I thought we were on a good roll with what we were building with House of the Dragon. Views were pretty low today. I love this too. I love hanging out, chatting, talking stuff with you guys. So we're gonna need a topic for next week. Maybe we just do a just chatting stream. Just hanging out, talking to you guys. Do you think we'll ever find out who rescued Grogu during Order 66? I do. And I don't know if we're gonna like the answer. We could just do a Ask Us Anything type stream and have members submit a question, and then we could just kind of go from there. What's up, Hugo? Unless there's something to talk about, of course, and we'll figure that out next week. We could always start talking about one thing and then shift. There doesn't have to be a full structure where the whole thing is about one thing. It's just been that way because we've had very specific stuff to talk about, and talking about House of the Dragon takes up a lot of time. Obviously, Cobra Kai took up a lot of time because I feel like we do more talking during Cobra Kai than anything else. It'd be great to do a Q&A. I didn't find you guys until recently, so now I want a little content from you daily. I mean, we basically are doing something daily. I'll have the thing reaction up later. Once I sign off here, I'm going to get the podcast uploaded, and then I'm going to finish actually, I'll get the thing done first, and then upload the podcast for tomorrow. I'm going to be at practice for 2 hours tonight with the kiddos, so... Or with the kiddo. Nikki, if you want to order the what is it, Greek food? I'm down for that. I mean, we do something almost every day, which is pretty insane. Mediterranean, thank you. If you want to order that, I'll do that for lunch. I'll do that spicy thing that I ate, the hero. But yeah, we're putting things in motion to try to make this a full-time thing. We got you, Iron. We got you. But I knew there would be a drop-off on Patreon after House of the Dragon ended. Which was very much expected, obviously. But Last Kingdom, it's got a really good following of fans. It's pretty amazing. Lasagna leftovers from a local restaurant for lunch. Nice. Iron, you've been playing Call of Duty, right? Are you enjoying it? I still haven't downloaded it, but I want to. When does the BR show up? I need to get into a video game very badly, but I think God of War comes out next week or 2 weeks from now. When does God of War come back? God of War Ragnarok debuts the 9th. Ooh, that's on a podcast day. Maybe we're gaming next Wednesday. Maybe the podcast is God of War Ragnarok. Unless it drops Wednesday. The story's really good, multiplayer is good. Oh yeah, I played through the God of War 4. Was it 4? The newest one. We played Lego Star Wars. I did that. All those videos are on this channel. When is God of War dropping? Is it dropping midnight Wednesday morning? So like Tuesday night? Or is it dropping... Like, how is that going to work? Have they said that yet? Nikki ordered Mediterranean. Yummy. God of War is fucking hard, man. Oh, damn, Nikki with the fuck yes. The extra I'm missing fresh pita, of course. The game is also a third-person perspective, too, which is neat. I know that currently Warzone 2.0 is set for November 16th. Okay. I'll definitely get the game before that. Hummus is oh, man! Southern with another horrible take. I'm going to make a list of all Southern's bad takes, because there's a long list. Hummus is terrible. Damn. That's an epic L. Oh, be nice to Southern. He doesn't know any better. It's terrible. Does anyone know when God of War is dropping? Usually the games will like put out like a world time chart of like when you could get the game. Baklava? What's baklava? Oh, yeah, that's good too. I think evening, they don't post an hour. Baklava. Baklava. Yeah, I know November 9th, but like what time are they planning? I could probably go on. Oh, here's a list. 6 days, 7 hours, and 45 minutes from now, East Coast time. Quick, do the math. 6 days, 7 hours, 44 minutes from now. Finally friggin' get the PS5 going again. Oh, it says it right here. The one exception will be U.S. time zones where it is triggered upon Eastern time zone. For example, West Coast will release 9 p.m. November 8th. So okay, so they're saying it's going to drop at midnight Eastern. So at the stroke of the 11th, or at the 10th or 11th. The 9th, the 10th. So that won't interfere with anything. Is Nikki a very supportive mother when it comes to the girls? Hell yeah. Anything the girls want to do, we give them an opportunity to do it. We are very supportive, both of us. Hey, Jose, thank you. Appreciate that. Definitely not connecting to work that day. Same. Got to figure out the schedule for that week. I've been itching for a new game to be excited about for a long time, and it feels like this is finally going to be it. Finally! God of War! Now I'm hungry. Now that we talked about food, now I'm hungry. Damn, I'm hungry. Yeah, you think we'd be able to do this job if Nikki wasn't a supportive person in general? Like my crazy ass dream of trying to make all this work and how much time we sacrifice. She is very supportive of the goals. You're having a Cuban sandwich for dinner. Cuban sandwiches are bomb. Back to Andor. The older guy having been worked to death was so awful. Damn Empire. Yeah. You can tell by Nikki's reaction that she has one of the biggest hearts when it comes towards kids and animals. Yeah. I mean, I think that's what makes her reactions the best. And it's not just a situation where I'm only saying that because she's my wife and I love her. Her reactions are the best because she gets fully engulfed in every story that we watch. What are we doing today? We're done already. We talked about Cobra Kai for like an hour and 20 minutes earlier for the podcast, and I'm just chatting with you guys now, just hanging out. Like she gets emotionally invested hardcore into everything, and I think my more serious nature plays off of her well. Don't make me cry. I think that's what makes her, like, I think that's what makes what any, like, you could tell anyone who, whether they're reacting or just talking about it, like, you could tell when someone cares about what they're watching. And, like, love you too, babe. It's written all over her face when we're watching some of these shows. Like, go back to, like, our original Game of Thrones react. Like, are you kidding me? Like, I think some of my favorite stuff was, like, Hill House and how scared she is because she gets fully engulfed into the story. And I think a lot of it has to do with how amazing the content is that we're watching. It's like we're not necessarily getting great reactions out of The Walking Dead right now because the show is just kind of like, it feels like it's kind of in cruise control on its way to the finish line. But like we're watching The Last Kingdom and it's like, holy shit. We watch Black Sails, holy shit. Genuine reactors are what makes your content great. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. And we try to be as real and honest about everything. And if we don't like something, you'll definitely know that too. Ain't that right? The Mist. I don't know where that came from. I didn't mean to do that. "100% Black Sails is the most underrated TV show of all time that I've ever seen. 100%. Everyone on the planet needs to go watch that show. Not just for our reaction videos, but that show is fucking amazing. It is one of the most flawlessly told stories ever created. Both your faces express so much emotion when you're reacting. I think that's a big thing too. We are both pretty animated people. Even when we're just sitting there watching, like, for example, watching Dahmer. We're just hanging out casually, just chilling on the, like, in our bedroom watching the document or watching the show. It's like, that's how we watch content. I talk too much and Nikki freaks out. Did we really just get a Golden Girls and Married with Children suggestion? That's a first. Are those shows even available on streaming anywhere? I mean, I grew up watching Married with Children, so Golden Girls, like, my parents watch that. He's a Baratheon is 100% the greatest moment of this channel's history, yes. Easily. I don't even, like, there's a lot of great moments, but I think if we created a poll, I think it's a landslide victory for He's a Baratheon. 1,000,000%. I think Ball T is probably a close second, or not close. I don't think anything's a close anything. Ball T's up there. The giant penis from The Boys is up there. Her throwing her notebook at me when a certain character dies was a pretty epic moment. I mean, the Mandalorian finale was probably my moment. The jump scare in Hell House is one of the best moments. What, I can't say penis on YouTube? Pee-pee? Giant pee-pee? When it attacks Mother's Milk. The baptism in Ozark was pretty insane. I mean, they're all in the highlight video. It's on the front page of our... The Red Wedding wasn't... I don't think that's one of the top reactions. She reacted more to the direwolf dying than Happy Feet. That's a big one. What's with the main events ending by injury every other week in the UFC? Guys are training too hard and they're hurt going into fights. All right, guys, the kiddos are home. I'm going to sign off and go eat lunch, and we will talk to you guys later. I will have a video out on the reaction channel later. It's going to be the Thing reaction. So far, I've gone through it. It is pretty great. It's a lot of fun. Great freakouts. And, yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Thank you for the new members. Thank you for the super chats. It is time to eat and go see my kids. Bye!